Prophet Musa, Moses, and Pharaoh, Firaun, played significant roles in the history of the ancient Egyptians and the Israelites. Here is a brief summary of their story. Prophet Musa, Moses, was born during the time when the Israelites were living as slaves in Egypt. According to religious texts, Musa's mother, fearing for his life due to Pharaoh's order to kill all Hebrew male infants, placed him in a basket and set him adrift on the Nile River. Miraculously, the basket was found by Pharaoh's wife, who decided to adopt Musa as her own. This event marked the beginning of Musa's extraordinary journey and his eventual role as a prophet and leader. After Musa was placed in the basket and set adrift on the Nile River, he was discovered by Pharaoh's wife, who took compassion on the baby. Impressed by his innocence, she decided to adopt Musa as her own son. Pharaoh's wife, often identified as Queen Asiya, raised Musa within the walls of the royal palace, providing him with a privileged upbringing and education. As a result, Musa grew up with access to the resources and knowledge available to the royal family, unaware of his Hebrew heritage and the destiny that awaited him. Musa received his call to prophethood during his time in the desert of Midian. While tending to his flock, Musa came across a burning bush that was engulfed in flames but was not being consumed by the fire. Curious, he approached the bush, and it was then that Allah, God, spoke to him from within the bush. Allah revealed himself to Musa and assigned him the task of delivering the Israelites from the oppression of Pharaoh and leading them to freedom. Musa was chosen as a prophet and was given divine guidance, miracles, and the ability to communicate directly with Allah. This marked the beginning of Musa's mission as a prophet and his pivotal role in the liberation of the Israelites. The story of the burning bush is a significant event in the life of Prophet Musa, Moses. According to religious texts, while Musa was tending to his flock in the desert of Midian, he came across a bush that was on fire but not being consumed by the flames. Intrigued by this extraordinary sight, Musa approached the bush. As Musa drew closer, Allah, God, spoke to him from within the bush, commanding him to remove his sandals as he was standing on sacred ground. Allah identified himself as the Lord of the universe and revealed his plan to Musa. During this encounter, Allah chose Musa as a prophet and assigned him the task of liberating the Israelites from their slavery under Pharaoh in Egypt. Allah bestowed upon Musa divine guidance, miraculous signs, and the ability to perform miracles to validate his prophethood. The burning bush became a symbol of Allah's presence and communication with Musa. It signified a divine commission and marked the beginning of Musa's mission as a prophet, leading to his confrontation with Pharaoh and the eventual freedom of the Israelites. After receiving his divine calling at the burning bush, Prophet Musa, Moses, returned to Egypt to fulfill his mission of liberating the Israelites from slavery under Pharaoh's rule. Accompanied by his brother Harun, Aaron, Musa confronted Pharaoh and demanded the release of the Israelites, as commanded by Allah. Despite displaying miraculous signs and presenting Allah's message, Pharaoh refused to let the Israelites go. Musa and Harun persisted in their efforts, warning Pharaoh of the consequences if he continued to defy Allah's command. As Pharaoh's resistance continued, Allah sent a series of plagues upon Egypt as signs of his power and to pressure Pharaoh into releasing the Israelites. These plagues included turning the Nile River into blood, infestations of frogs, gnats, and locusts, outbreaks of diseases, hailstorms, darkness, and the death of the firstborns. Each time, Pharaoh would momentarily relent but then harden his heart and refuse to free the Israelites. The plagues progressively intensified until the final and most devastating one, the death of the firstborns. This struck Pharaoh's household as well, including his own son. Finally, broken by the weight of these calamities, Pharaoh agreed to let the Israelites go. Musa led the Israelites out of Egypt, marking the beginning of their journey towards the Promised Land. However, Pharaoh soon changed his mind and pursued them with his army, resulting in the dramatic crossing of the Red Sea and the subsequent drowning of Pharaoh and his soldiers. The return to Egypt was a pivotal moment in Musa's story, as it set in motion the events that led to the liberation of the Israelites and their subsequent journey towards freedom and the establishment of their own nation. In the story of Prophet Musa, Moses, and Pharaoh, Allah sent a series of plagues as signs to convince Pharaoh to release the Israelites from slavery. These plagues included turning the Nile River into blood, infestations of frogs, gnats, and locusts, outbreaks of diseases, hailstorms, darkness, and the death of the firstborns. Each plague was a demonstration of Allah's power and a warning to Pharaoh, yet he repeatedly resisted and refused to let the Israelites go. The plagues persisted until Pharaoh finally relented after the death of his own son, leading to the liberation of the Israelites from Egypt. The Exodus refers to the departure of the Israelites from Egypt after being freed from slavery under Pharaoh's rule. Led by Prophet Musa, Moses, the Israelites embarked on a journey towards the Promised Land. After a series of miraculous events, including the parting of the Red Sea, they crossed safely while Pharaoh's pursuing army was engulfed by the returning waters. The Exodus marked a significant moment of liberation and the beginning of the Israelites' journey towards establishing their own nation and receiving divine guidance and laws at Mount Sinai. The crossing of the Red Sea is a pivotal event in the story of Prophet Musa, Moses, and the Israelites. After the Israelites were freed from slavery in Egypt, they found themselves pursued by Pharaoh's army. As they approached the Red Sea, with no apparent means of escape, Allah instructed Musa to strike the sea with his staff. Miraculously, the sea parted, creating a dry path through the midst of the waters. The Israelites crossed the sea on dry land, with walls of water on either side. However, as Pharaoh and his army attempted to follow, the waters returned to their normal state, drowning the pursuing forces. This event demonstrated Allah's power and protection over the Israelites, and it marked their definitive escape from the clutches of Pharaoh. The crossing of the Red Sea became a powerful symbol of deliverance and a testament to the faith and trust the Israelites placed in Allah and their leader, Musa. It is a significant event that is remembered and celebrated in religious and cultural traditions. The Ten Commandments are a set of moral and religious principles given by Allah, God, to Prophet Musa, Moses, on Mount Sinai. They serve as a fundamental guide for ethical conduct and worship for believers. You shall have no other gods before me. You shall not make for yourself an idol or worship any other gods. You shall not take the name of the Lord your God in vain. Remember the Sabbath day and keep it holy. Honor your father and mother. You shall not murder. You shall not commit adultery. You shall not steal. You shall not bear false witness against your neighbor. You shall not covet anything that belongs to your neighbor. These commandments encompass a wide range of principles, including monotheism, respect for the divine, reverence for the Sabbath, honoring parents, respect for life and relationships, honesty, and contentment. They provide a moral framework for believers, emphasizing the importance of love, justice, and obedience to Allah. The Ten Commandments hold a significant place in religious teachings and are considered foundational to various faith traditions, including Judaism, Christianity, and Islam. After the crossing of the Red Sea and their escape from Egypt, the Israelites embarked on a journey through the wilderness. This period of wandering lasted for 40 years. Throughout their journey, the Israelites faced various challenges, including scarcity of resources, conflicts with other nations, and internal struggles. Prophet Musa, Moses, continued to lead and guide the Israelites during this time, providing them with divine guidance, laws, and moral teachings. However, due to an incident involving water in which Musa struck a rock instead of speaking to it as commanded by Allah, he was forbidden from entering the Promised Land as a consequence. Before the Israelites reached the land of Canaan, the Promised Land, Musa passed away. His death marked the end of his leadership, and he was succeeded by Joshua, who would lead the Israelites in their conquest of Canaan. Musa's wandering in the wilderness and his inability to enter the Promised Land serve as lessons of obedience, humility, and the consequences of disobedience to Allah's commands. Despite not reaching their destination during his lifetime, Musa's role as a prophet and leader was instrumental in the formation of the Israelite nation and the preservation of their faith. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this video and would like to stay updated with our content, make sure to subscribe to our channel, Soulful Islamic Center. Simply click the subscribe button and don't forget to hit the notification bell so you never miss any of our future videos. We appreciate your support and look forward to having you as part of our community.